Webrazi izleyicileri tekrar merhabalar. Turkcell Teknoloji Zirvesi'ni takip ediyoruz. Haliç Kongre Merkezi'nde bahsetmiştim. Yerli yabancı çok sayıda önemli konuşmacı var Turkcell Teknoloji Zirvesi'nde bu sene. Brad Templeton onlardan bir tanesi. Brad bizim röportaj teklifimizi de kabul etti. Ağırlıyoruz. Hello Brad, it's really nice to see you in Istanbul and also thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, no, great to be here. Thanks.
You were one of the most top-notch speakers and presenters here in the Turkcell Technology Summit, I should say. What was first for our audience? What was your the presentation about?
Well, actually, there are lots of great speakers here, but so I hit on three themes. The first, in line with the theme of the conference, was trying to understand accelerating change, understand how when the world goes exponential, which is what happens when it's based on computers, that changes the rules, companies live and die, empires rise and fall, and trying to help people understand the different intuitions they have about that. The second theme was to focus on networks and computing, both the history of the internet and what was special about it, and then where networking and bandwidth are going into the future. But my core topic is my current passion, which is getting cars and computers together, changing transportation with cars that drive themselves, and the fact that transportation is such a big part of our world, that doing that is going to have a huge effect on the world.
You have a pretty good idea about Turkcell and its accomplishments here in Turkey. What do you think? Do the mobile operators have a really motivating effect or influence in developing such smart or Internet of Things technologies, or they should better stay as just carriers?
Well, I think if they just stay as carriers, then they won't have as good a business. Now, obviously, there are political issues about whether the carriers and how they compete with the other people who are using their network, and that's a Turkish issue, which I'm not going to be able to change. But if I'm a carrier, I think the wise thing to do is to try and be more than a carrier, to try and become a software company, really. In fact, I tell everyone that the era of being an infrastructure company is ending, and you need to be, even if you're an infrastructure business, that your infrastructure has to be driven by software, so it has the flexibility to change the way the world is changing. And this is something that carriers have to learn. Turkcell is actually doing some things in that area. I think that it's also important, though, that there be open platforms where everyone can compete, a neutral network. And around the world, people use this phrase, network neutrality, to talk about this, so that Turkey and the whole world can benefit from every startup having an even shot at innovating and changing what's going on.
You say that all companies should be software companies in the very near future, be it a food company or a car company. Yeah. If this is a process, where are we now?
Depends on what kind of company you are. I mean, if you're Uber, you're nothing but a software company, but you're providing transportation to people. They don't own the cars. Airbnb doesn't own any of the hotel rooms. They're just software, and they've managed to take it all the way. And there are other companies who are just starting to learn this, and cities who are trying to learn this. One of the phrases that you'll now hear is virtual infrastructure, which is to say you think about your infrastructure plans and you say, how much of this can we make appear in the software layer so it's flexible, it's virtual, we can change it, we can adapt. And I think every city, every country, and every company that's doing infrastructure needs to start thinking that way, or else they'll fall behind the people who do think that way.
Okay, this also comes with the power. I mean, if you own the software, if you own the networks, you own the world in a way. And today we see that most of the softwares and this control is mostly produced in the States. What do you think? Will it be by time distributed evenly or relatively evenly across the world?
Well, so when you say the States, actually you probably mean Silicon Valley. And Silicon Valley is a special place in the world. And it's an immigrant place. It's full of people from all over the world, including Turks, by the way, who have left their homes and gone to that place to do something big. And only by having a congregation of immigrants, I think, that you actually get the hunger and the variety of skills and opinion to give Silicon Valley that chance to dominate the world. But it's not exclusive there. There are great software offerings showing up in all the countries of the world, but the Americans are better at it. There's no question about that, too. So that doesn't mean it's bad news if you're a Turk and you're trying to do it. It just means you've got to try and capture the mindset of California and the mindset of the startups there, take advantage of the lower development costs you have in this part of the world and try and find a way, and also the knowledge you have about this part of the world, and trying to find a way to beat the Americans at their game.
So we should treat Silicon Valley sort of an educational place or a school in a way.
Yeah. A role model, but also all countries in Europe have to, instead of fearing immigrants, they have to realize they are the ingredient. I mean, obviously there's a big crisis around that here in Turkey right now. It's a big hot button debate issue and many opinions on it. But I think countries that try and isolate themselves, try and insulate themselves from what's going on in the world won't be big players in the world.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. I hope to see you again sometime soon to discuss Turkish startup scene more deeply.
Very, very good. Yeah, no, I'd be interested. Obviously I don't go to Turkey a lot, so I haven't gotten a chance to learn all about that, but I'm sure there's interesting stuff going on.
There are a lot, actually.
And there are 80 million people here too, which is a good market to address, which is a good way to get things going. I think that actually in this part of the world, the other place that's got the immigrant mindset is a certain country here a little bit to the southeast.
I agree.
There's obviously varying opinions about Israel in this part of the world, but that's one thing they get right.
Okay, you, Turkcell, us, let's try to make Istanbul a hub for this, hopefully.
Absolutely, and actually I think that the one thing, that if you were to name what would be the advantage here, is it's considered the classical Turkish advantage as being the bridge between East and West. And so Turks have the ability to find things in the East that are valuable and be the ones who bring them out and exploit them, market them in the Western world, and the other direction as well.
Thank you again.
Right. Thank you.
Turkcell Teknoloji Zirvesi'nde Brad Templeton'ı ağırladık. Bizden ayrılmayın.